Hey, welcome back to part 2 of the Coleman family case. I'm sorry we left you guys last week. Trust me, you're going to be happy we did it. So you can stay engaged for the rest of this episode and find out what happened. Quick summary. The Coleman family, Sheri, Garett, and Gavin, were found deceased in their home with spray paint everywhere, ligature marks on themselves.
Chris was getting threatening text messages.
Emails.
Threatening emails
and
of their missed job and letters. Mm-hmm. We had a detective with a camera next door. Mm-hmm. And yeah, if you haven't watched part 1, please go back and watch part 1 before you watch part 2, or else you're going to be incredibly confused and spoiler alerts all around.
Pretty much. So you can find part 1 on all of our socials, like she said, Facebook, Instagram,
YouTube, Spotify, Apple. It's going to be linked in the description below, so you can flip right back to it and then come back to us whenever you're ready.
It will also be on our website, so you can find it there if you want to go there. Just4podcast.com. You can find the episode, merch, and case submissions.
And all the pictures that go along with this episode as well, if you are listening only.
Yes. So with that, welcome back to another episode of Justice 4. We are your hosts.
I'm Jackie.
And I'm Sam. Let's fucking get back into this shit.
Let's do it.
Here is the evidence they started off with, but more did end up coming out in trial. I'm just going to give you a snippet of it, okay?
Okay.
The DNA that was found under Sheri's fingernails, by the way, they found DNA under her fingernails, was actually a partial profile to Chris.
Wow.
It could be Chris, but it could belong to another male with a similar DNA pattern. Still had to be someone in his family. Welcome to that. None of the DNA in the house points conclusively to a stranger whatsoever.
Okay.
On the day of the murders, crime scene techs scraped flecks of the paint off the wall, of all that spray paint that you saw, and determined that the paint color was apple red. They used a black gel to capture footprint impressions and bagged many items, including hair, fibers, a Glock pistol and a car pistol, latex gloves, any shoestring or phone cord that might have been used to strangle the victims, 2 cell phones, a BlackBerry, and 2 laptop computers. They analyzed the phones and the laptops. You know how much I love Google searches, right?
Oh, yes. I always have a blurb for you for Google searches. I put them in because you love them.
I fucking love Google searches.
You really do.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's none in this case. But you guys, he's still a dumb fucking criminal, right? Yeah. This dumbass created that email, the destroychris@gmail.com, that those threat emails were being sent from on the same night that the first email came in. And it was all traced back to his laptop IP address.
I mean, in his defense in 2009, people didn't really know how much they could trace and do things like that, and people thought they were still smooth and getting away with shit.
Period.
But if you guys didn't suspect it was him from the email addresses that were made...
Like, to be fair, he's just like, I can create this email. No one will know it's me. They won't know I created this email. It's not my name.
Jim and Waffles.
Idiot. So, he did end up sending more emails from his laptop the very next day as well. And to quote Hermione Granger, what an idiot.
I guess if we don't have Google searches, him making fake emails is good enough.
It is good enough.
I like that.
It is good enough, especially in trial. So, Chris also had work files on his computer that contained a lot of the same misspellings. Specifically, there was one, opportunities. He spelled it opportunities, not opportunity. You know, I don't know why I was so saying. Thank you. So yeah, it consistently had that like in a lot of his typo. Stuff. That was also the same typo in the emails. In another one of the threat emails as well, letters appear in Chris's stuff, like he was misplacing the apostrophe. So like, how would you spell the word won't?
WON''T.
He would spell it WONT''. He did that for won't, don't, doesn't. He put the apostrophe at the end of the fucking word.
What the fuck?
How's that tongues treating your education?
Yeah, I was about to be like, is that something to do with him? Oh my god, we had the same thought at the same time. I was about to be like, is that something to do with like how they like spoke in tongues and like read like Bible verses in tongues or something? I don't know. I'd be intrigued to see if there's a relation there.
I don't know. Maybe. I have no idea. I'm not going to look into it. I'm not going to lie to you. If you guys know, let us know. I'm not going to do that research. He would also fuse words together, like have a good time. Like good time he would combine. Set up he would combine together. Things like that. Unfortunately,
he didn't pay attention to the little red squiggle underneath the words in the email?
Definitely not. That little paperclip didn't help him worth shit.
No?
Unfortunately, they still do not have the spray paint can, any paint spattered clothing, or a murder weapon.
But remember, he said he was 5 minutes away, and it took him 13 or 14 minutes? I don't know. Just saying, there's a little discrepancy there.
We'll get to that in just a second. They decided to move to the phones, and Sheri had texted a few friends telling him that Chris was actually beating her. And that if anything happens to her, it was definitely Chris.
I really need y'all to know, if you have to say this, just get a divorce. Like, if you literally have to text that to a friend, just get a divorce.
Just get a fucking divorce, dude. Deadass. Like, I don't care if you're born again. I don't care what your religious beliefs are. If your husband fucking hits you, you need to leave.
And if you think, like, if you have to tell people if anything happens to me, it's them, like...
That's fucked. Go.
We're not...
Go away.
Why are we giving ourselves the chance? Take the kids and go. Your parents seemed very supportive.
Yeah, let's turn it around a little bit. If your wife is hitting you, y'all should fucking leave.
Deadass.
Even if it's not you. If your kids are being hit, fucking leave.
It's
going to get worse.
Yep.
Please leave.
So,
for the love of God.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Back to these messages really quick, though. There are other messages saying that Chris said that Sheri and the boys were in his way. I have pictures of these that you can see here.
I'll move so you can see them.
There's 3 of them. Pause if you want to read them. They then started, like, the police started thinking about Chris's behavior the morning of May 5th, so the morning of the murder. He made his first call to Sheri at 5:43 a.m. as he was pulling out of the driveway.
I was saying as he was pulling out of the driveway. But why? Because you just left her.
Yeah.
Why are you calling her?
He said he was calling to wake her up. Like, brother, you couldn't just like, hey, I'm leaving. Hey. You couldn't fucking touch her goddamn shoulder?
I do remember my devil's advocate moment from our live with this.
Say it, because I don't remember.
So I could see if he had seen her. And so, like, when I get up in the morning to go to the gym, once I leave the bedroom, like, I will go into the bathroom, I will start the car, and I will change and brush my teeth and do that. And then I just go downstairs, because it's like 4:30, 4:45 in the morning when I'm doing this. And then I go downstairs, and I, like, grab my water and I grab my protein bar, and I love the cats. And then I just leave. And sometimes that's, like, a 10 or 15 minute difference.
That's fair.
So, like, I could see, like, him being like, okay, like, I had nudged her when I left, but she still wasn't up and around, so I'm just going to walk out of the car and then I'll call her instead of, like, going back upstairs and trying to wake her up, because sometimes I'm trying to, like, get to a class on time. I know he wasn't, but I'm just saying that it's weird, but it's not super weird, because I could see, like, maybe a timeline like that happening in the house.
So, I'm going to reverse your devil's advocate just a tiny bit.
Okay.
So, he said he woke up at 5:30. And left at 5:43, like in his car pulling out. That's 13 minutes. Him getting dressed. Oh, God, I hope he brushes his teeth. Most likely having to pee, all this stuff. And then, like, as you're walking out of your bedroom, but 5 minutes is not going to make a difference.
I don't get dressed in the bedroom. I have everything in the bathroom already, so I don't even go back in the bedroom after so that I don't, like, wake them up. But he's trying to wake them up, so...
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can't take an extra minute or two to wake your wife up.
But you're going to call when you leave.
But you'll call her as you're pulling out of the driveway.
I mean, I guess it could go either way.
It could. It absolutely could. The cops ended up finding 0 pattern of him ever to do this. He never called to wake her up. He never called her in the mornings to try to do this, to get the kids up and going. 0 pattern.
That would be like my husband suddenly starting doing that, because he doesn't do that at all.
Yeah.
Because we're all up and going in the morning when he leaves for work. It would be like him suddenly being like, oh, I had to make sure she was awake.
Yeah. It would.
I'm awake before everybody in my house is every single day.
I know, I get your text. You're up before me, too. So, Chris texted home when he was doing his cardio, like, while he was at the gym, right? Quote, "Are you awake? I know you would..." Oh, God, I hate doing this. His grammar's terrible. I'm so sorry. I'm going to start the line over. Quote, "Are you awake? I know you was tired last night. I have about 5 minutes left on cardio, then I'll be home." End quote. He continued working out for another 15 minutes after that text.
I have a feeling that his version of 5 minutes is like a woman's version of 5 minutes when we say we're going to be ready in 5 minutes, and then like 15 minutes later we're actually ready. So I feel like he says the phrase 5 minutes as more of like, I don't know. It's not an actual measure of time to him. I don't think it is.
I don't think so either.
I think it just sounds good to him.
I agree. So then he texted her, "Hello, you up? Time to get the kids up." End quote. He then called Detective Barlow at 6:42. Was I right on that time?
Yeah, so like an hour, 59 minutes later.
59 minutes later, 6:42.
Well, you didn't even do a full workout.
I mean, I get some good workouts in.
Yeah, but I don't know how far away the gym
In an
is, and he
hour.
left at 5:43, which means that he didn't get to the gym until 6.
Yeah.
Around 6, and then he's calling at 6:43, and he says he's 5 minutes away on a bridge.
So he probably just did a cardio workout. Don't forget, he said he worked out the night before also. So he calls Detective Barlow at 6:42 when he was 5 minutes from home. But according to an AT&T cell tower expert, he drove past his exit and went north when he made his next call to the Columbia police. By the time he reached home 13 minutes later, police officers were discovering his family. So he probably was actually 5 minutes away from home. Because he said he was on the J Bridge.
Missed his exit.
Yeah, he missed his exit.
Which I just kind of want to point out that that's kind of hard to do that early in the morning. We don't have that much traffic that's blocking you from getting off the highway there. That's wild to me.
Weird.
Okay. Whatever, Chris.
The detectives called in the best of the best, Dr. Michael Baden. He is the New York forensic pathologist who stars on HBO's Autopsy and was consulted about the bodies of Martin Luther King Jr., John F. Kennedy Jr., and John Belushi. So he got them credentials, yo.
He knows what he's doing. He knows what's up.
On a conference call on May 19th, do you remember which day that was?
That was the day of the funerals.
That was the day he was arrested.
Oh, day he was arrested. My bad. Yeah.
It's okay. Baden gives the police his final opinion. Sheri and the boys were likely killed before 3 a.m.
Okay.
Definitely before 5 a.m., but probably closer to 3 a.m.
So he had plenty of time to clean everything up at home, get rid of stuff, like set the scene. Like, he probably killed them and then had to do all that spray paint work. And, yeah.
Because he didn't move the bodies. There was no blood anywhere. So he didn't have to clean up any blood. But he had a lot of spray painting to do.
You know how hard it is to get spray paint off your hands and stuff? Like, he had to have, like, worn gloves and other stuff because you can't spray paint without getting it on your hands.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, probably.
I've used spray paint a few times.
Remember, they
It's
collected
hard.
latex gloves from his house.
True.
So he had them. Did I happen to mention
She didn't.
that they found a credit card charge for a purchase?
Was it spray
of
paint?
$3.77 made on February 9th of 2009 at the Handyman True Value hardware store. They called the store and been like, "Hey man, can you check to see what was bought for this amount?" After several minutes, the clerk comes back online and says, quote, "He bought spray paint, apple red."
Huh.
End quote.
Imagine that.
It's crazy. Also, spray paint was cheap as fuck in 2009.
It really was.
I don't know what it is now. I'm not gonna lie.
It's like $5 something a can.
Really?
5 or 6. Yeah, it just depends on like what kind you want. If you want the gloss, if you want the magic one. I don't know why I've spray painted things recently enough to know this.
You do craft stuff.
I
I
do
have
do
it in
craft
my
stuff.
bathroom.
I
I have
know,
some of
but
your
I didn't
craft stuff
spray
in my
paint that. but yeah.
I know, but I have your craft stuff. You're a crafty bitch.
I am a crafty bitch.
Mm-hmm. But after many hearings back and forth with prosecution and defense, all of this stuff, trial finally started on April 25th of 2011.
Okay, 2 years later?
2 years later. Many people were called to testify, including many friends of Chris as well as Sheri. Their texts were read, like all of the texts between
Chris and Sheri that we've talked about.
Or even like Sheri and her friends and Chris and his friends. All the ones that I've mentioned already. The ones stating that he was beating her and wanting a divorce. The many texts saying his life would be better without Sheri and the boys in it. One of Sheri's friends named Megan testified with this quote, Chris told Sheri that she had ruined his life and he can't believe that he can't get away from her and he can't divorce her, end quote. She also said that according to Sheri, Chris's job would be terminated if he got a divorce.
I mean, he did work for a megachurch.
Joyce Myers was also called to testify based on interviews that she had prior to trial. She explained that due to the beliefs of her ministry, if it came out that Chris was being unfaithful, he would have been fired. But she said that if he was just divorcing his wife, it would be looked into further and he may not have lost his job. But if it was a divorce because of being unfaithful, then he could have lost his job. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because it is, you have to remember, we're working for a megachurch.
Uh-huh.
The image is there. It's the belief systems that they were in. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, Chris was wrong and he wasn't wrong. Yeah. He would have been fired, yes, for getting the divorce because he was having an affair. He wouldn't have been fired had he just divorced her and then dated.
When they looked into it further.
Yeah.
Whatever. Joyce did say that he actually called off of work on May 4th because he said he wasn't feeling well, and she thought it was weird because he's never done that before. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I'm still stuck on this getting fired from a divorce thing. That's wild to me. Like, I couldn't imagine. I don't know.
But only if he was having an affair. If he just was
maybe
divorcing her for... Also, she could have just been saying this now because, like, that was being looked at under a microscope, and if she literally was like, he would have gotten fired for getting divorced, it really is a big motive.
The thing is, though, she said in one of her interviews that other people had been fired because of divorce. It was just different circumstances.
I feel like we're trying to cover our ass a little bit because he killed his whole family, and we're trying to not make this seem like it was such a big ultimatum for him to have to make.
Probably. Then they brought Ms. Nasty-ass Tara Lentz to testify.
I like this part.
Ugh. She actually really tried to get out of it and was refusing, but the judge was like, actually, I'm literally going to order you to come and testify.
And I love this.
Mm-hmm. Fucking nasty ass. But on the day that she was supposed to testify, at least 90 people signed up to be in that courtroom just for her testimony. But only a handful were actually granted access. While she was on the stand, people said that her answers were very short and snippy. Quote, like that of a too grown-up teenager made to do something she loathes, end quote.
I mean, I can't even be like that. You're testifying at your best friend's murder trial. No, you're kind of testifying against your boyfriend for killing his family, which happened to be your best friend. And none of that grants you a high horse.
It does not.
And doesn't make you look very good.
You look like Jenna from Pretty Little Liars.
She does. That's all I see when this picture is shown is Jenna from Pretty Little Liars. And I'm sorry if you haven't watched it. It's a masterpiece.
No one liked Jenna, let's be real.
No one.
Mm-mm. So she went on to say that she had been born again. And she sought Ron Coleman, so Chris's dad, for help during this trying time of her life. The prosecution asked her if they loved each other. She said yes.
Wait, hold on. Pause, time out. Mm-hmm. So Chris's dad was all about her.
Kind of. He was like, this is very inappropriate, But I can't turn away someone who's asking for help. Shut the fuck up.
But you shit down your, like, actual daughter-in-law for having a tattoo on her leg and called
And
her
short
ungodly
shorts?
and short shorts? Oh, my God.
What a worldly little
It was
girl.
2009. We had the best short shorts.
Well, this was in 97, so they weren't even that short yet. When they first...
Valid.
When
We
they
were
first-
not even that short in the 90s.
No.
They got shorter as time went on.
Hell yeah, the 2000s rocked our world.
Oh, yeah.
And our ass cheeks.
Jessica Simpson and her Daisy Dukes and Dukes of Hazzard. Oh, man.
They rocked our world and our ass cheeks.
Oh, yes.
She said that they loved each other. She then talked about their time in Hawaii and how they were always talking. Every article I could find on her testimony said that it was over so fast that it put the crowd in a daze. But as soon as she was done, as soon as that bitch got off the stand, they called up a computer forensics officer. He went over the non-explicit photos shared between Tara and Chris. This included photos of them kissing, being all dressed up at a fancy dinner, them being cheek to cheek. I'm not going to lean that far, I'm sorry.
We can't. Our mics will mess up.
They were kissing each other's cheeks, biting each other. Yuck. After a handful of pictures, he stopped and the prosecutor was like, "Was that all of them?" And he said, "No, there were several hundred images."
I don't even think after 15 years, me and my husband have several hundred, like, images that we have seen each other that would be proof of, like, that weren't in public or other things. I don't...
Of being together.
Of, like, in those ways. Not like a normal, like, oh, hey, like, we're out at dinner or, like, we're having drinks, like...
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm also that friend. She can tell you. She takes more pictures of us than I generally do. Because I'm, like... I try to be, like, a live-in-the-moment person.
So, like, I'm a live-in-the-moment person, too, but then I want a picture, but I also take horrible pictures, so then you end up actually having to take all the pictures while you're trying to live in the moment, but, like...
I mean, it works. I'll gladly take some pictures with you. I'm fine.
But there's some couples who, like, literally, like, sit there and have, like, their little, like, photo shoots and, like, take pictures with each other. I guess when you're having a secret affair and you can't really go out in public, do you have more options to do that?
You have to hold on to what you can.
Yeah. It's still disgusting, but...
It's gross. I don't know.
I get it. Ugh.
I don't know. And then the prosecution asked, in addition, were there explicit photos? And the guy said, yes. This is where the judge decided, let's maybe just describe these photos and videos. Sorry, I forgot to mention that part. The officer says, quote, "This is a picture," don't worry, I'm not putting these up. I can't, legally. "This is a picture of Chris Coleman in the shower unclothed that shows his genitalia." Chris Coleman taking a picture of himself in a mirror and it shows his genitalia. Tara Lentz partially turned away from the camera, exposing her buttocks. A picture of her breast. End quote. And the prosecution stopped him because he could tell the jury was being like a little weird about it. But then they insisted they needed to continue because this evidence was needed in order to show the intensity of their relationship, like thereby establishing a possible motive for, the murders. And then they played a video. It was a video of Chris that he took for Tara. And yes, he was naked. Genitalia. I'll say it again. Say crack again.
Say crack again.
Quote. Yuck. Okay, sorry. Quote. "Just got finished texting you, and I've still got a heart on. Want to see it?" He then giggled nervously and said, "Anyway, just wanted to say I love you." End quote.
Oh my God.
It's going to get worse. There's another video where he's masturbating in the shower. Quote, "You're the only person I've ever done anything like this before." Oh, drop the soap. Sorry, I can't with that.
This is a video?
Yeah, this is a video. Ooh, drop the soap. You know that? You're the only person I've done a lot of things. This is crazy. I love it, though. I can't wait to see you in Hawaii. And then there was a lot of ums and ahs later, and it was over.
I feel dirty. Like, I feel like I need to go take a shower right now.
I also feel very dirty.
I feel like I feel so dirty right now.
I want to point out really quick. These were all played in trial.
Was the jury in there, or was it played without the jury?
No, the jury was watching, as was his very Christian pastor parents.
I think that might be the cherry on the cake for this for me. Is the fact that like his parents had to hear all this and
watch it.
But drop the soap.
Hope drop the soap.
Just remember, your videos and pictures will all be shown at trial. If you ever fuck up.
Yes, please be aware of this in detail. Everyone will see it. Yeah. Finally, the officer noted that there was a note saved on his phone labeled Tara, and it had her height, her eye color, her jean size, her bra size, and her panty size. It also had a subcategory in there that was Christmas, and underneath that he had promise ring, love's circle diamond or diamond cross. It had her favorite perfumes and flowers. This also noted her birthday, the birthday of her dog. Okay. And then it said, the day Tara changed my life, 11/5/08. And the last note on it said, quote, our daughter's name, Zoe Lynn Coleman.
If he would have put a quarter of that effort into his marriage and his wife, I feel like we could have been like we wouldn't even be sitting here talking about this.
So I didn't mention this earlier, but he actually compared Tara to his wife. He was like, she's just like how Sheri used to be.
Before you ruined her.
Also, they kind of looked a little similar.
They do kind of look a little similar. I'm not gonna lie, they do.
Man,
because when you showed, when we were going back, because we always show pictures beforehand, and whenever we were showing pictures again before we just started recording, when you first showed Tara, I thought it was Sheri.
Yeah.
Because I was like, and then you swiped, and I was like, but that's okay. Just kidding. Yeah. So they do look very similar.
They do look very similar. Yuck. So here's where I'm going to add in that other trigger warning. I am going to go into a little bit more detail about the bodies, how they were found. So if you want to not listen to this, it's probably going to be like 5-ish minutes.
We'll try to put a timestamp down there for you to skip ahead to.
Yeah. It was explained that Sheri slept nude. Her naked body was laying face down, her head hanging off the edge of the round bed.
They had a round bed?
They had a round bed.
That's so cool.
It did not vibrate.
Oh. Did it spin?
No.
Oh.
But round bed, I want to sleep on a round bed.
I want to know the story behind having a round bed. I mean, you can continue now, but that's just really cool.
Her dark hair was tangled across her face. Her fair skin was tinged gray and blotched a dark purplish red on the underside where the blood pooled after her heart had stopped. She was rolled over by coroners, and her bent leg was in the mid-air, stiff with rigor mortis. 2 marks sliced red across her neck, probably because the ligature shifted as she tried to fight it. She also had a black eye caused by direct trauma. Attorney Chris Ritz said, quote, it could have happened after death, but there would be no reason to punch a dead person, end quote.
But also, like, with already having the bruising, the pulling, it happened before.
The black eye is what I mean.
Yeah. Like, it wouldn't have turned into a black eye if it wouldn't have been done before.
I don't know what level of healing that black eye was, so it is speculation of when it happened. It could have been before and she was just wearing makeup, which happens especially in the early 2000s, mid-2000s.
I'm kind of curious if...
Late 2000s? Yeah.
I mean, like, he bought the spray paint and he had the emails and he was, like, planning something. But, like, I wonder if maybe he just, like, meant to kill her. And then, like, she fought back more than he expected her to. So he, like, a nice right hook. I know that was my left hand because I'm left-handed. But then, you know, and so, like, he didn't... There was more of a struggle than that, which is... Could have woke the boys up and, you know, made it to where he also had to kill the boys. I don't know. I don't know if it was fully planned from the beginning to do all of this or, like, because the black guy's a little weird. Like, anger and aggression stuff, fine. But, like, I wonder if there's a little bit more...
The boys had similar ligature marks on their neck, and their skin was jaundiced and grayish. Officers said their skin felt thick, like dinosaur skin, at a science center exhibit. Garett was still partly covered by his blanket, and there was no sign of a struggle. Long, dark hairs were laying across Gavin's armpit, suggesting that he was strangled second, and strands of his mother's hair, caught by the ligature, fell onto his body. The forensic pathologist tells the jury each ligature would have been held tight, quote, for 4 or 5 minutes.
That's
end quote.
Such a long time.
That's a long time.
That is a total of 16 to 20, or what is that, 12 to 15 minutes?
12 to 15 minutes.
Total that he had to think about what he was doing. That is 4 or 5 minutes is a very long time. When you're just sitting there waiting. I know this because I set a 4-minute timer every time I finish doing someone's dip nails because that's how long it takes for the top coat to dry without me fucking it up. That's a long time.
That is a long time.
Half
4 minutes can seem like a very, very long time. I know it sounds short.
It sounds short, but it's not. Like, set it. Pause this video. Set a timer for 4 or 5 minutes, and then sit there. Just sit there. I guarantee you will think your time's done. You'll look down, and there's still 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah. Yes. Pretty much. The forensic pathologist. Oh, I already said that part. He did reiterate his estimate of time of death was before 5 a.m. Probably closer to 3 a.m. Chris, the prosecutor, asked whether there were any chance the murders could have happened after Chris left for the gym, and he shakes his head no. Quote, "This isn't even a close call. They had to have been dead before he left the house." End quote. They were also in rigor.
Yeah.
Rigor does not set that fast.
And we had blood pooling in the face.
Entire body.
Entire body. Where she was laying. And that doesn't...
That does not happen in an hour.
No.
I hate to tell you. No, I don't hate to tell you guys that. We've gone over very scientific stuff of rigor mortis. It takes at least a solid 3 hours to set in.
Yes.
There are, if you remember the spontaneous combustion case, is that which one I talked about it in?
I believe so. We've talked about it in quite a few cases where we've had to figure out like rigor mortis and their time.
That there is...
We went over it a lot with Madeline Soto, with Stefan Stearns moving her body from the trunk and the front seat.
Oh, yeah.
We went through that a lot with her slumped over in the one video, her not in another.
Well, there was one of the cases I did that there's like kind of a supernatural thing where someone can get rigor mortis instantly.
Yes.
But it's so rare that most people don't even consider that a real thing.
Yes.
Doesn't fucking happen, y'all. Science isn't like that. Our bodies are not built that way. So, this is where we can pause for people to come back in if they want.
Okay.
Then, after his 12 to 15 minutes, no, I guess not, if I'm talking about that, there was all of the writing to do on the walls, all the evidence had to be disposed of, and unfortunately, murder weapon, paint can still has not been found.
Yes.
So, the defense only called 2 witnesses to the stand, a linguist and a handwriting expert.
Oh, these are my favorite people testifying.
The handwriting expert said the writing on the wall was so inconsistent that it looks like someone was trying to disguise their writing.
I'm going to stop you for 2 seconds.
Oh.
It has been 4 minutes since we discussed how long 4 minutes is.
Oh. What?
That is how long that took.
Jesus
If
Christ.
you've seen me looking down in the past 4 minutes, it's because I was watching the timer at the above our recording. It was at 42 when you said that. It's now at 46. I wanted to let you guys know how long 4 minutes was. And it hasn't even been 5 minutes since I said that. We still got about 30 more seconds left before it hits 5 minutes.
Oh, I even had a little bit of rambling to myself there that I won't cut out just so we can have this.
Yep.
So, sorry, y'all gotta listen to me ramble. It was for scientific purposes.
Everything you said was actually pretty good. We just have that pause to bring people back in. But, yeah, no, I wanted to actually mark what 4 minutes was so that you guys can see. That's
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine doing that 3 times.
Yep.
Fuck. That's crazy. Okay.
Now we're at 5 minutes.
Jesus So after the handwriting expert said this, which is crazy, by the way, that he was like, well, it looks like someone was trying to purposely make it look weird.
It's like writing with your left hand when you're right-handed to make it look
Yeah.
like somebody else wrote something.
Mm-hmm. After their own witness said this, basically helping the prosecution, the defense all of a sudden rested, like super abruptly. So in closing statements, the defense argued that all of the evidence was circumstantial. Quote, there's nothing so much as a jaywalking ticket on Chris Coleman. No murder weapon was found, and the state was not able to recover a speck of paint from Chris Coleman, end quote.
Well, he had a few hours, so.
He pulled out a notepad, like the defense attorney did, and like sat there and tried to do math calculations, insisting that the family could have died after Chris left the house. They tell the jury the state never established where Chris Coleman's laptop was when the threats were sent also, and declares, quote, this investigation isn't over. End quote.
I think the investigation is over because we're like in closing arguments at trial.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Something I didn't touch on, I remember they were trying to swear up and down that whoever did this just saw his paint cans, and that's why they used the paint that Chris bought.
Okay.
What did you buy the paint for, Chris? What did you buy it for then?
Yeah, and why wouldn't you just say that? Yeah, because if it was in your house, if a killer would have grabbed it in the house, he would have left it in the house.
Probably. Why is it gone? Why can't we find it?
Yeah,
Chris?
if you had it and now it's gone, like if the killer didn't come with it, he wouldn't leave with it.
Yeah.
Especially if
Crazy.
you're already wearing gloves.
Crazy. The prosecution reiterated the chain of events that were presented. They ended with this sentence, quote, when the killer went to each of those little boys' rooms in turn, and when the killer sat down on their beds, and when the killer reached for them to strangle them, you've seen the pictures. They didn't get up and run. They didn't scream. Of course they didn't. Why would they? It was just Dad. End quote.
It breaks my heart every time I hear that.
That's a strong fucking...
That is.
That's a strong
It breaks my heart every time I
statement.
have to hear that. But it's so true. Like, try to argue that statement.
I mean, it's true. There was no struggle. None. Not a single struggle. I don't know. Chris sat emotionless during the entire 9-day trial. After 15 hours of deliberation, the verdict came down on the last possible hour of May 5th. So the 2-year anniversary of the murders, which I find extremely poetic every time this happens. Chris Coleman was found guilty on 3 counts of first-degree murder.
A round of applause.
A few of the jurors spoke out after and said that a handful of them were hung and not sure if he did it. But then as they were looking at photos of Chris and Tara, one of the photos was dated for the beginning of October of 2008. Almost 2 months before both of them testified that they started seeing each other.
Oh, you got caught on a lie in the stand.
And this made the jurors feel like they were absolutely being lied to and played with, so they knew he was guilty. If he would lie
That's
about...
what did it?
Yeah, that's what did it. If he would lie about the date he started seeing his mistress, what else would he be lying about? That's what it did.
I'm glad something did it.
At least something did it.
At least something did it.
Yeah. Because how fucked would that be if he got off?
Right?
On a hung jury.
Ugh.
Yeah. So then on May 6th, the jury unanimously finds Chris eligible for the death penalty, saying that his actions were brutal and heinous, and that the murders were, quote, committed in a cold-blooded, premeditated manner, end quote. The defense had a long line of people ready to speak on Chris's character, and then the defense requested that the jury be excused and the decision be made by the judge.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens.
It does.
It really does happen. I feel like you really got to piss a judge off for that, but you know.
Mm-hmm. And then, in the most ridiculous twist of fate, on May 9th, the day of his sentencing, The death penalty was abolished by the state of Illinois.
We didn't grandfather him in, did we?
Nope. So with that, actually anyone who was on death row in the state of Illinois got moved to life sentences. So with them abolishing the death penalty in the state of Illinois, Chris Coleman received 3 life sentences without the possibility of parole.
I mean, it's something.
Ron and Connie, his parents, spoke to the press from time to time to explain how they trust their son and they don't believe that he did this. They even like to say how they blame Sheri for pushing him to have an affair. They claim that she never complimented him and always criticized him for not being affectionate. In an interview in April of 2018 with Crime Watch Daily, Chris maintained his innocence while Ron said, oh, fuck this guy, quote, an affair would not have been a motive for the murders. Tara was just meeting a need at the time that Sheri wasn't taking care of. Well, I mean, every man has his desires, and every man has to be respected. It's built into every man. If your wife doesn't respect you, then you're going to find respect someplace else. End quote.
You know, I've never, ever, ever, ever heard respect be sub, like the word sex be sub for the word respect. What an interesting time.
What a very pastor thing to say.
Yeah.
Sorry for any pastors that are listening to us.
That's just disgusting. That's not, ugh.
Yeah. So backing up on the timeline just a tiny bit, on May 4th of 2011, a wrongful death lawsuit was filed on behalf of Sheri, Garett, and Gavin Coleman against Chris Coleman, Joyce Meyer's ministry, and Joyce's son, who Sheri reported the threatening messages to.
Got you.
The case was originally dismissed, saying that the ministry couldn't have foreseen that Chris would have killed his family. But during an appeal, the court cited that the threats were so extreme that it was reasonable to anticipate that harm may come to the family, and that the ministry was responsible for investigating the threats and protecting the family. Unfortunately, it was still later dismissed.
I mean, I understand.
I see both sides.
I do see both sides. Like, they should have investigated it more. They should have done more with it.
Yeah.
Because, yes, the threats were explicit and the threats were there.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, like, threats weren't really against Joyce. It was against his family.
Yeah, he was just using the ministry as
a gateway, a reason.
Yeah, as a motive, ultimately.
I mean, yeah, I see. Also, we're talking mega church, so we have hella good attorneys.
Like, if they would have filed against Chris separately, they may have won that one.
Yes.
But the fact that they included the ministry,
yeah,
that's most likely what happened.
But also, I can see them including the ministry because you're not going to get money just by going after Chris.
Correct.
You would get money by going after the ministry.
I get it. I don't know if they're after money. I think they just wanted further justice for their kids.
Which is true, but it also comes with a settlement.
Period. In addition to the lawsuit, Sheri's family wanted Sheri and the boys' bodies moved to their hometown and out of the hometown of their murderer and his family, who clearly have zero fucking respect for them. The Colemans tried to fight it, actually, but the judge decided that a convicted murderer should have no control over where his victims were laid to rest. And if they ended up remaining there, that when Chris dies, he would be laid right next to them. And that's super not fucking cool.
Can we get that same energy for, I think it's, what is it, the Massachusetts mom and kids? That the doctor murdered and absolutely granted them to be buried where he will be buried, and like they cannot get it moved.
That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and it's already like he's already arrested and stuff for it, I do believe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's I don't like it.
No.
Don't like it.
No. So in December of 2012, their bodies were actually exhumed and relocated to Sheri's hometown outside of Chicago.
Good.
However, the gravestone that Ron and Connie paid for remains in Evergreen Cemetery. Have a fucking stone.
Have fun. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
I hope you've paid a whole lot of money for it.
A charity was set up in the names of Sheri, Garett, and Gavin. Many families and friends donated to this charity that was supposed to go to the victims of domestic abuse. Yes, I said supposed to. Unfortunately, in March of 2015, Mario DeSicco, her brother,
Sheri's brother,
had a civil lawsuit filed against him by the state alleging that he stole over $33,000 for personal use. I have a whole thing here from that lawsuit. I'm not going to read all of it. This is already a long episode, but I will have all of that actually linked below. If you guys want to check that out, you can read about it yourself. Basically, he stole a lot of fucking money and was like, I don't know where it is.
Don't be a shitty person. Mm-hmm. Like, Sheri didn't have anyone in her life that was not shitty. Her best friend was fucking her husband. She had her mom.
She actually, a couple of her other friends that were in Illinois were wonderful. They fucking had her back. But fuck Tara, fuck her brother, fuck her stupid husband.
Yeah. It just blows my mind how many people in her, like...
She was failed over and over again. I have not been able to find anything regarding any results about this lawsuit against him. I don't know if it's just gotten overshadowed. Like, I tried even asking, some AI bots, because they searched everywhere. I couldn't find fucking anything.
And sometimes that happens. Sometimes that just happens.
It does. Mm-hmm. The Coleman's house was foreclosed on since Chris was arrested and no one was paying for it. So it went to auction, and there was actually only one bidder on it, and it was Wells Fargo. It probably doesn't help that the listing photo they had on the website had the crime scene tape all over it.
Also, it was 2009. We were in a housing recession. We were foreclosing on a lot of things.
It probably didn't happen till 2010 that it foreclosed because it takes a few more months.
Yeah.
Whatever. Since it has since been sold to 2 other families, and I hope they have since cleansed it with some good juju. Chris still owes $230,000 plus interest on the mortgage. Fuck you. Chris did appeal. He did his appeals every year after his conviction, and in January of 2015, a judge upheld the conviction and the life sentences.
Yay!
Mm-hmm. In April of 2018, attorneys filed for a new trial based on a claim of improper evidence, specifically those photos that the jurors discovered that led them to the conviction of the October of 2008.
Yeah.
I'm a mess. A judge granted an evidentiary hearing in March of 2019, but in July of 2020, that same judge denied a new trial.
Good.
Again, fuck you, my guy.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Now, let's talk all things Sheri, Garett, and Gavin.
My favorite part.
Mm-hmm. Sheri was fun, uninhibited, and wildly playful. After they got married, she was born again, and 12 years later, she was devoting her time to their 2 sons, church, and mission trips. Sheri threw herself into Destiny Church, where she worshiped. She organized trivia night fundraisers single-handedly, hosted lots of show up and buy something parties. She would have loved LuLaRoe.
She would have been a LuLaRoe girl. LuLaRoe? Yeah, LuLaRoe.
LuLaRoe. Mm-hmm.
She would have been.
Mm-hmm. But she also would go all out celebrating holidays with the kids. She even paid to have a friend's entire kitchen redone.
Oh.
Yeah, remember how she liked charity and shopping?
Yeah.
This was it. This is her. Oh no, how terrible of her. The fuck? She loved SpongeBob SquarePants, MASH reruns, and New Kids on the Block. Her ringtone was Natasha Bedingfield's Pocketful of Sunshine.
Oh, I love that so much.
I got a pocket full of sunshine. I don't know how much more we can sing without being yelled at. Sheri loved her husband very much. She bought him presents when they were out of town and told people what a great husband he was. She only hated his job because it took him away from her and the kids. Their house was always very clean, everything in place, everything just perfect. Sheri was affectionate, full of fun, ready to let her boys be boys. Garett and Gavin Coleman were known as happy, polite, and popular boys who were active in their community. Garett, the elder brother, was described by his family as quiet and a thoughtful thinker who loved playing football. His younger brother Gavin was a social butterfly with an outgoing personality who shared his mother's vibrant spirit and was an avid baseball fan. Both boys were frequent visitors to the local snow cone stand and spent their evenings playing catch with their father, who they adored, and saying prayers before bed. Together, they are often remembered as typical boys who love to have fun. Now, jury, it's your turn. Did we get justice for Sheri, Garett, and Gavin?
Yes.
I also believe we got justice for them. A good, deep justice that we no longer have to worry about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you think Chris is innocent at all?
Nope.
No. Even though we have received justice, it does not rid the heart of pain that came along with it.
No. Not at all.
No. That pain is still there. I hope her mother is okay. I hope her father's okay.
Yeah.
What the fuck how Mario's doing.
Nobody cares about Mario. Nobody cares about Tara.
No. I hope that they go to bed and they think their phone's plugged in and it's not plugged into the wall.
Every time.
I hope that when they lay their head down on their pillow and then they flip it over to the cool side, that it's not cool.
I hope they step on a Lego.
Ooh. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. This is a very popular case that we wanted to bring to you guys. And again, it was our live showcase, which was just, I had a great time with it.
I had a great time. It was so much fun. All of you guys who showed up, you guys seemed to have a great time with it as well.
Yes.
Even if you had already heard this case. But yeah, I was really excited that this was the one that you brought. I've heard this a few times. I really enjoy every time I hear it. It's just so interesting and intriguing. And you also delivered it in a different way than most other podcasts have delivered it too. And so I really enjoyed that.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What?
Like,
I actually did not listen to, I think I listened to one other podcast about this case. Otherwise, there's so much out there about it that
there is so much out there about it
that I didn't have to listen to other podcasts to try to find.
Yeah, there's
anything.
so much documents and everything else. But no, like this one is, it's so intriguing. It's so interesting. So much effort. Like, getting a divorce would have been so much easier than all of this.
Bro, I understand that you were probably in debt. Just get a divorce still. It's okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
And we're sorry that this one is so long, but it kind of can't be. If you're familiar with this episode, like, you know.
Yikes. Sorry that we turned this one into a two-parter. It was just long. It was so long.
It was way longer than we thought it was once we got in here and recorded it. It felt way shorter than that in front of you guys as an audience.
I think so. We also had 3 hours to talk to you guys. So
and
maybe
we felt
that's
like
why
an hour and a
so
half.
much
I mean,
longer.
we talked for about an hour and a half, hour 45.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. But we just wanted to make sure you guys got all the information. We didn't want to lose you in the process of it. Because I know I put a lot of fucking information in this. I'm very aware.
And sometimes we do break it into two-parters so that you don't lose information. So you don't get bored, so to speak, or lose interest. Yeah. And it's just a little bit easier to digest in your day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And like, I know me personally that I'll listen to podcasts while I'm driving to and from work. My drives aren't very long. So I don't want to have a 2-hour podcast that I'm listening to because I'm going to lose it.
Sometimes I enjoy those. It just depends. But
yeah, we just didn't want to do that to you guys.
Yeah.
So we have ADHD. A lot of you probably do too. And we get sidetracked.
And you guys also know that we can't not give you every detail. Yeah. We try.
Yeah.
But then we end up going over here with, I didn't put this in here, but I'm going to say it anyway real quick.
I did that extra this time, too. I didn't even do it this much at the live show.
No, we didn't. Mm-hmm. So we're sorry, but we're not sorry. And we hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Mm-hmm. Make sure you're following and subscribed everywhere you can. Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify. Hopefully by now iHeartRadio is back up and in the mix. Please leave us a review.
Yep. Please go follow us on anywhere you listen to your podcast or watch Follow all of our socials. Go to our website, justiceforpodcast.com. Get your merch. You still have a merch code if you were at the live show.
You do.
You can submit a case if you want. You can see all of the pictures from this case.
Yeah, check out our website if you
Yeah.
haven't. Check out everything, because we try to put out a lot of the stuff on the same across everything, so you can see it whether you use Instagram or Facebook or whatever. But we put out random stuff, so you want to make sure you don't miss anything.
Also, by this time, we're definitely going to be posting some of our live photos or the pictures from the live show. And if you see yourself, tag yourself.
Yeah,
Please.
feel free to tag yourself. If you guys took pictures or videos, please go ahead and send them to us.
Yes.
If it's too big to send on Messenger, go ahead and shoot them over to our email. Most definitely, we want to see those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So we had a great time. We have another live show in the works.
Yes,
It's going to be a good time.
it is. It should be sometime in April. If we have a place out on our social medias, it'll be out there. As of this recording, we don't really have all the details to give you yet, but that's why you need to be following us so you don't miss any of that.
Perfect. So that's all I got for you. You got anything else?
I don't got anything else.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Have a very, very happy week. March is coming up, so please be careful with all of your warm weather plans. Is it going to be warm? Probably.
Yeah.
Whatever. Have a lovely week, y'all. We will catch you next week with an all-new episode. You don't want to miss it. Okay. Love you. Bye.